Origins of Egyptian Wisdom. 5. Eternal flames from the veiled sage seeker. Time's veils hide wisdom's roots, but I have walked them. I am the veiled sage, eternal wanderer who has witnessed the birth and flowering of civilizations across the long river of ages. Tonight, lantern lit high in the shadowed halls of memory, I reveal the origins and sacred aspects of Egyptian wisdom, from the primordial emerald tablets of Thoth to the profound teachings of the gods, the resurrection mysteries of Osiris and Isis, and the eternal map of the soul in the Book of the Dead. From my memories of its dawn along the eternal Nile, when the black land first emerged from the waters of Nun. Listen closely. This is no dry history. It is living fire passed from the gods themselves. The flame ignites your soul with wonder and power. If this sparks your inner fire, honor the light, like this revelation, and subscribe to the fire chosen. Let the ancient current carry you home. Seeker. I recall the first dawn when the Nile's flood receded and the black land, Kemet, rose fertile and black under Ra's golden eye. It was around 3100 BCE in your counting when Nama unified Upper and Lower Egypt, the two lands becoming one under the double crown. I stood upon the banks as the falcon god Horus claimed kingship, and the first pharaohs began to build not just monuments but a civilization aligned with cosmic order itself. Egyptian wisdom was never mere belief. It was the science of living in harmony with Ma'at, the principle of truth, balance, and justice that holds the universe together. I have seen empires rise on this foundation and crumble when it was forgotten. Now, I share it with you, so your own inner kingdom may endure. First flame, the emerald tablets and Thoth's timeless knowledge, the correspondence of all things seeker. I remember when Thoth, the ibis-headed lord of wisdom, master of the moon, inventor of writing, and keeper of the divine records, first entrusted the secrets to worthy initiates in the hidden chambers beneath what would become the great temples of Kem. Long before the Greeks called him Hermes Trismegistus, the thrice great, I walked with him as he inscribed the emerald tablets in a language of pure vibration and living light. These were no ordinary stones. They were condensed star fire, carrying the architecture of creation itself. I recall the moment the tablets were sealed in chambers of crystal and gold during the great cycles of change, when Atlantis's shadow fell and its survivors brought their knowledge to the Nile's shores. As above, so below, Thoth declared, his voice echoing like the Nile's eternal flow. That which is above is like to that which is below, and that which is below is like to that which is above, to accomplish the miracles of the one thing. This is the first flame, the principle of correspondence. Everything in the universe mirrors everything else. The macrocosm of stars and galaxies reflects in the microcosm of your own body, mind, and soul. Your thoughts shape your reality as surely as Ra's barge shapes the day. Seeker, I have tested this flame across ages. When the heretic pharaoh Akhenaten turned the two lands toward the one Aten in the 14th century BCE, I saw how distorted correspondence breeds chaos. Yet when balanced, it births renaissance. In the Hellenistic age, when Greek seekers like Plato and Pythagoras studied in the temples of Heliopolis and Memphis, I guided their initiation into these same mysteries. They carried the flame westward, where it became the foundation of Hermeticism, alchemy, and later esoteric traditions that still pulse in your modern world. This flame teaches sovereignty through mental transmutation. You're not victim of circumstance. You are alchemist of your own field. When fear arises, transmute it by seeing its higher correspondence. Fear is the shadow of power unrecognized. When division appears between peoples, remember, the one thing connects all. Daily practice 1. Each morning stand before a mirror or the rising sun and declare 3 correspondences. As the Nile brings life from hidden sources, so my actions bring unseen fruit. As the stars wheel in perfect order, so my thoughts can align my days. Feel the resonance in your chest. Practice 2, the art of the spoken word. Thoth was lord of Heka, sacred magic through sound. Speak only what you wish to see manifest. Guard your tongue as the priests guarded the Holy of Holies. For 1 week, replace every complaint with a statement of higher correspondence. Watch how your outer world shifts. Practice 3. Visualization as creation. Close your eyes and see your desired state already accomplished in the higher realm. Feel it as real as the Nile's water. Then act in the lower realm as if it must follow. This is not fantasy. It is the ancient science of the soul. For societal betterment, this flame reveals why diverse cultures thrive when they honor interconnection rather than isolation. Egypt absorbed wisdom from Nubia, the Levant and Libya, while exporting its own. Architecture to Greece, medicine to the world, astronomy that still guides. When modern nations forget as above, so below, they build towers of Babel that crumble. When they remember, they co-create wonders. Seeker, ignite this flame and become a living bridge between worlds. Your personal transformation ripples outward, uniting what appears separate. Second flame. The gods as archetypes of inner divinity, mirrors of the eternal self. Seeker, I have dined in the company of the gods, not as distant idols, but as living forces within the human heart and the cosmic order. I stood in the reed marshes when Isis, great of magic, lady of the throne, searched for the scattered pieces of her beloved Osiris after his murder by Set. Her wings of protection spread across the land, and I helped gather the fragments so resurrection could occur. This was no mere story. It was the eternal drama of the soul, fragmentation through chaos, restoration through love and wisdom. I sailed with Ra in his solar barge as he battled the serpent Apophis each night, ensuring the sun rose again. I witnessed Osiris, lord of the underworld and judge of the dead, rise green and renewed, teaching that death is but a doorway. Horus the Younger avenged his father, showing the triumph of order over chaos. Hathor, Sekhmet, Anubis, Thoth, each a facet of the divine diamond that is your own being. Seeker, I recall the reign of Hatshepsut in the 15th century BCE, when the female pharaoh embodied both masculine and feminine divine power, building magnificent temples that still stand. The gods were not separate from humanity. They were the perfected patterns within us. Isis represents the nurturing, magical, resurrecting aspect of every soul. Osiris, the dying and rising king, lives in your capacity for renewal after loss. Set is the necessary shadow that tests and strengthens. Ma'at herself is the feather of truth in your heart. This flame burns away the illusion of separation from the divine. You are not a lowly creature begging gods for favor. You carry their sparks. When you honor the God within, you honor the gods without. Daily practice 1. Choose one deity whose quality you need most today, perhaps Bastet for joyful protection or Thoth for clear speech, and invoke that quality in your actions. Speak to it as an old friend. Practice 2. Shadow integration. When anger or fear rises, name the god it distorts. Set unintegrated becomes destructive. Integrated, it becomes the warrior who defends Ma'at. Journal. Today, Set tested me as Dalquai. I choose to wield this energy as Horus. Practice 3. Ritual of alignment. Light a candle at dawn or dusk. Speak the names of the gods whose qualities you seek. Then affirm, I am Isis in my compassion. I am Thoth in my wisdom. I am Osiris in my renewal. Feel the archetypes awaken in your cells. Societally, this flame heals division. Every culture has its pantheon, Greek, Norse, Hindu, indigenous, reflecting the same universal archetypes in different robes. Egypt's wisdom influenced the Greeks who studied there, who in turn shaped the West. When we recognize the shared divine patterns across humanity, prejudice dissolves into reverence. Diverse expressions of the one strengthen the whole, just as the many gods serve the one in Kemet. Seeker, let this flame make you a unifier of worlds. Third flame, the Book of the Dead and the soul's eternal journey, judgment, transformation, and living legacy. Seeker, pause with me in the hall of two truths. I have stood beside Anubis as he weighed the heart against Ma'at's feather countless times. I guided the soul of the scribe Ani through the papyrus of the dead around 1250 BCE, and I have walked with pharaohs and commoners alike through the Duat's 12 gates and caverns. The Book of the Dead, more accurately the Book of Coming Forth by Day, was no funeral manual for the elite alone. It was a living map for any soul brave enough to confront its own truth while still breathing. The negative confession, spell 125, still echoes in my immortal ears. I have not done iniquity, I have not robbed with violence, I have not stolen, I have not slain men and women, I have not told lies, I have not stolen the bread of the gods, I have not stolen the offerings of the dead. 42 declarations before 42 assessors, each tied to a specific sin and a specific gate. The heart that balanced the feather became the Ak, the transfigured effective spirit. The heavy heart was devoured by Amit, the devourer, and the soul returned to the cycle for another chance at Ma'at. Seeker, I recall the Old Kingdom pyramid texts, the oldest funerary literature carved into the pyramids of Unas and others around 2400 BCE. You have not gone away dead, you have gone away alive. Sit on Osiris's chair, sleep that you may wake, die that you may live. This was the promise, not escape from life, but mastery of its cycles. Later coffin texts and the full Book of the Dead expanded this into spells for protection, transformation, and knowledge of the hidden names that open every door. This flame reveals that your life is the judgment. Every choice weighs your heart now. The afterlife is not distant reward or punishment. It is the natural continuation of the consciousness you cultivate today. Illusions of separateness, greed, and fear make the heart heavy. Truth, compassion, and aligned action make it light as the feather. Deeper Lesson 1. Personal sovereignty through ethical self-audit. Each evening, perform your own negative confession, not in guilt, but in power. Today I have not spoken falsely. Today I have not taken what was not mine. Where you fall short, correct it tomorrow with double measure. This forges an incorruptible heart. Lesson 2. The multi-part soul. Your Ka, vital spark, Bia, mobile personality, and Ak, illuminated spirit, must harmonize. Nourish the Ka with pure food and breath. Free the Ba through dreams, creativity, and travel of the mind. Birth the Ak through wisdom and service. Daily, breathwork that unites them. Inhale life force as Ka. Exhale personality as offering. Rest in the silence where Ak awakens. Lesson 3. Legacy as resurrection. The ancient Egyptians built for eternity because they understood influence outlives the body. What are you building that will speak your name in 3,000 years? Not monuments of stone, but monuments of kindness, knowledge, and justice passed to others. Societally, this flame birthed one of history's most stable civilizations. 3,000 years of continuous culture because the moral code was internalized and cosmic. It parallels every great ethical system. The 10 Commandments echo the negative confession. Stoic virtue echoes Ma'at. Buddhist karma echoes the weighing. When diverse peoples recognize this shared moral architecture, they build lasting peace instead of fleeting empires. Egypt welcomed foreigners who honored Ma'at and became stronger for it. So can we. Seeker, let your heart be light. Extend this flame and lighten the collective heart of humanity. Fourth flame. The pyramids, as engines of cosmic alignment and resurrection. Seeker, I watched the first pyramid rise, the step pyramid of Djoser at Saqqara, designed by the great Imhotep around 26 and 70 BCE. Imhotep, later deified as a god of wisdom and healing, was both architect and initiate. I stood with him as he translated the sacred geometry of the stars into stone that would outlast empires. Later, under Khufu in the 26th century BCE, I observed the raising of the Great Pyramid, 2.3 million blocks aligned to true north with precision that still baffles your modern engineers. Not slaves, but skilled workers, organized in crews with names like Friends of Khufu, fed well, honored in death with their own tombs nearby. These were not tombs alone. They were resurrection machines, power stations aligning Earth with Orion's belt, the celestial home of Osiris, capturing and focusing the forces of creation. The king's chamber resonates at frequencies that affect consciousness. The descending and ascending passages encode the soul's journey. The capstone, once covered in electrum, blazed like a second sun. Seeker, I have seen the pyramids through every age. When the sands buried their bases, when treasure hunters violated their sanctity, when Napoleon gazed upon them in awe, and when modern seekers still pilgrimage to feel their pulse. During the intermediate periods when chaos reigned and pyramids fell into disrepair, I witnessed how neglect of sacred alignment bred societal fracture. When restored under the New Kingdom pharaohs like Ramses the Great, whose colossal temples still proclaim Ma'at, stability returned. This flame teaches alignment as power. Your own pyramid, base of physical discipline, middle of emotional balance, apex of spiritual vision, must be built with the same precision. When misaligned, energy leaks and life feels chaotic. When aligned, you become a living temple, radiating influence. Daily practice 1. Sacred geometry in the body. Stand in the posture of the Jed pillar, stability, or the Ankh, life. Align spine, breath, and intention. Hold for 11 minutes, the number of completion in Egyptian numerology. Practice 2. Astronomical awareness. Track the moon, sun, and key stars as the ancients did. Note how your energy shifts with lunar phases or solar cycles. Live in rhythm with the cosmos rather than against it. Practice 3. Legacy construction. Build something enduring daily. Teach a skill, plant a tree, write wisdom for future generations, strengthen a relationship. Make your life a pyramid that points to the stars. Societally, the pyramids prove what unified, diverse peoples can achieve. Tens of thousands from across the Nile Valley and beyond collaborated on these wonders. Their knowledge of mathematics, the golden ratio, pi approximations, medicine, embalming, surgery, and astronomy spread through trade and conquest, enriching Greece, Rome, and beyond. When modern societies honor ancient wisdom instead of dismissing it as primitive, they rediscover sustainable power, renewable in the truest sense. Diversity of skill and background built the pyramids. Unity of purpose sustained them. Let this flame inspire you to co-create monuments of the spirit in your time. Fifth flame, Ma'at's balance and the harmony of opposites, the living principle of cosmic order. Seeker, Ma'at was not a goddess alone. She was the living principle that made the gods possible. I have seen her feather weigh every heart, including my own across endless cycles. Ma'at is truth that cannot be spoken falsely, justice that cannot be corrupted, balance that holds chaos at bay, harmony that allows diversity to flourish without dissolving into disorder. The Nile's annual flood and retreat was her heartbeat. Too little and famine, too much and destruction, perfect measure and abundance for all. I stood in the courts of pharaohs who embodied Ma'at and those who forgot her. During the stable old and middle kingdoms, when viziers like Ptahhotep taught, "Do not be proud because of your knowledge. Discuss with the ignorant as with the wise. Be patient when listening to the words of a petitioner. Do not dismiss him until he has completely unburdened himself." These maxims of good discourse kept the two lands in balance for centuries. When Akhenaten tried to impose a single vision without Ma'at's full measure, backlash came swiftly. When Ramses II and later rulers restored the balance of many gods and many peoples, prosperity returned. This flame is the culmination and container of all others. Correspondence without balance becomes manipulation. Divine archetypes without Ma'at become idols of ego. Soul journey without Ma'at leads to the devourer. Pyramids without Ma'at are empty tombs. Ma'at is the feather that makes every other flame light enough to carry. Deeper Lesson 1. Personal Ma'at Audit. Daily, weigh 3 areas. Thoughts, are they true and kind? Words, do they create harmony or discord? Actions, do they serve the whole or only self? Adjust until the scales balance. Lesson 2. Harmony of opposites. Egypt thrived by uniting upper and lower, male and female divine, life and death, order and necessary chaos, set as defender. In your life, embrace both discipline and flow, solitude and community, ambition and surrender. The wise ruler, like the pharaoh, holds the crook and flail, gentle guidance and firm boundary. Lesson 3. Societal and global Ma'at. Advocate for systems where truth is rewarded, justice is swift and fair, and diversity strengthens rather than threatens. Support leaders and movements that maintain the feather's balance. Volunteer, speak, create in ways that tip the collective scales toward light. Societally, Ma'at is why Egyptian civilization endured longer than any other continuous culture in history. It absorbed conquerors who honored her, Persians, Greeks, Romans, and outlasted those who did not. It parallels the golden mean of Aristotle, the middle way of the Buddha, the wu way of the Tao, the virtue ethics of Stoicism, and the justice of prophetic traditions. All great wisdom converges on balance. When humanity remembers this shared flame, war gives way to renaissance, division to symphony. Egypt showed it is possible for thousands of years. You can help make it so again. Seeker, these 5 flames are not separate. They interlock like the pillars of a temple. Correspondence reveals the one. Archetypes awaken the divine within. The soul's journey perfects the heart. Alignment manifests power. Ma'at holds it all in living harmony. Apply them, and the illusions of powerlessness, separation, and meaninglessness will shatter like dry papyrus in the desert wind. Seeker, pause. Let these flames burn illusions. If they awaken you, extend the glow. Like and subscribe, joining souls in this eternal quest. Share what stirs in you below. The lantern burns for those who choose to walk the hidden path. Apply these flames daily, and the illusions will shatter. Your heart will grow light as Ma'at's feather. Your life will align with the stars. Your presence will bless the 2 lands of your inner and outer worlds. If these truths have kindled a spark within your soul, Seeker, extend the light. Share this revelation with those still lost in the shadows. And in the echoes below, whisper from which veiled corner of the earthly realm you behold this eternal glow. Tell me of your own Nile floods and resurrections. Subscribe and join the fire chosen, until the next light, when new flames will rise from the same ancient source. Seekers, sustain this flame. Visit sponsor links in the description. Their essence fuels our journey across the ages. May Ma'at guide your steps. May Thoth sharpen your mind. May Isis protect your heart. Until we meet again in the hidden chambers of memory, I am the veiled sage. Walk in balance.